Libra, let me ask you something. Why this message? Why now? Because lately, you've felt it. That quiet pressure inside your chest. Not fear, not hope. Something in between. You've been patient longer than anyone knows. Holding balance. Holding back. Wondering if the universe even sees how hard you're trying to stay graceful while everything feels delayed. And here's the truth, Libra. You're not behind. You're not forgotten. You're being repositioned. This didn't find you by accident. You didn't click this randomly. Something higher is shifting you, slowly, deliberately, into a season where stability replaces survival. So, stay with me. Breathe. Listen closely. And before we go any further, comment "I'm ready" if this already feels personal. Subscribe if you trust where this message is leading, because what's unfolding next isn't just about money. It's about why everything had to happen this way. Libra, stay with me for a moment. I want you to notice something, not around you, inside you. That quiet feeling you've been carrying. The sense that life has been asking more patience from you than feels fair. More balance, more restraint, more grace. While the rewards seem slow to arrive, you didn't imagine that. And you weren't wrong for feeling tired. Because what's been happening lately isn't about delay. It's about alignment. You see, Libra, your soul doesn't move in straight lines. It recalibrates, it weighs, it listens. And for a long time, you've been standing in that invisible space between what you know you deserve and what you've been willing to accept. That space, it's closing now. Not with noise, not with chaos, but with a quiet rearranging of your inner world. You may have noticed it in small ways, the way certain worries don't grip you like they used to, the way you're less willing to rush decisions just to feel safe, the way something inside you is finally saying, "I don't need to chase anymore." That's not coincidence, that's guidance. You're being moved gently, shifted, not pushed, led, not forced. And I want you to hear this clearly, Libra. You are not being tested right now. You've already been tested. What you're in now is the moment after the storm when the ground settles and you realize the foundation is stronger than you thought. This is where stability begins, not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily, in ways that last. And, yes, prosperity is part of this, but not just money. It's the feeling of exhaling without guilt. It's waking up without that constant pressure to prove yourself. It's trusting that what's coming won't require you to sacrifice your peace to receive it. You were never meant to survive forever, Libra. You were meant to arrive. That's why things that once drained you are starting to fall away. Why old fears feel less convincing. Why your intuition feels sharper, quieter, clearer. You're not losing anything valuable. You're releasing what can't follow you forward. And I know there's a part of you that still wonders, is this real or am I just hoping again? That's okay. Hope doesn't make you weak, it makes you receptive. Because what's unfolding next isn't about sudden miracles. It's about consistency, rooted growth, the kind that doesn't disappear when the world gets loud. You don't need to rush this. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You just need to stay present and let yourself be guided one step at a time. And as we move deeper into this message, I want you to stay open. Not alert, not guarded, just open. Because the next layer of this story will show you exactly why everything had to realign this way before the doors could open. And Libra, they are opening. Libra, let's slow this down for a second. There's a shift happening around you that doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't rush in, it doesn't need attention, it settles. You might feel it in the way your shoulders relax when you stop trying to impress anyone, in the way your breathing deepens when you realize you no longer need to justify your choices. That quiet sense of arrival, that's the energy moving toward you now. This is what real royalty feels like. Not crowns, not applause, but calm. It's the kind of abundance that doesn't sparkle on the surface, yet changes everything underneath. The kind that gives you security without anxiety, stability without tension, enough without guilt. You're stepping into a frequency where money is no longer tied to survival, where resources feel dependable instead of fragile, where you begin to trust that what supports you today will still be there tomorrow. And I want you to hear this clearly, Libra. You didn't earn this by forcing anything. You didn't fight your way here. You softened into it. For so long, you carried the belief that you had to prove your worth, that you needed to be agreeable, balanced, perfectly composed. Even when you were tired, but something inside you has changed. You're no longer negotiating your value with the world. You're no longer asking for permission to feel secure. You're standing in a quieter confidence now, the kind that doesn't explain itself. This energy recognizes you. It meets you where you are, and it says you are allowed to have ease. That's why things are beginning to align differently. Opportunities feel steadier, choices feel clearer. You're less tempted by quick fixes and more drawn to what lasts. This is abundance with roots, not excitement that fades, but consistency that builds. You may notice that you're drawn to comfort in new ways, a better environment, a calmer rhythm, decisions that protect your peace instead of testing it. That's not indulgence, that's wisdom, because real prosperity doesn't ask you to abandon yourself. It supports who you are becoming. And Libra, there's something else. You're being seen now, not chased, not evaluated, seen. People respond differently to you when you stop over-explaining, when you move with quiet assurance, when you trust that your presence alone carries weight. You don't need to announce your strength, it's felt. This is the moment when life stops asking you to struggle and starts asking you to receive. Not all at once, not dramatically, but steadily, in ways that feel safe. If part of you still hesitates, that's okay. You've learned caution honestly. But notice how this energy doesn't demand belief. It invites it. And as you stay here with me, breathing into this space of calm and recognition, you may start to realize something subtle. The life you're moving toward doesn't require you to abandon balance. It rewards it, because what's coming next isn't about having more just to have more. It's about releasing the weight you carried when you thought enough was always out of reach. And as this sense of inner luxury settles in, you'll begin to see how the old fears quietly dissolve, making room for something far more stable to take their place. Stay with that feeling. There's another layer unfolding just beneath it, and it explains why letting go was the doorway all along. Libra, I want you to feel into this gently. There's a quiet ending happening inside you. Not the kind that slams a door, the kind that loosens a grip. For a long time, you lived with a subtle tension, always calculating, always preparing for what might go wrong, always carrying the thought, what if there isn't enough time support, money room to breathe? That mindset didn't come from weakness, it came from experience. You learned how to survive by staying alert, by staying balanced even when life felt uneven, by giving more grace than you received. But that season has finished teaching you what it needed to teach. And now, without drama, without warning, the fear that once shaped your decisions is beginning to dissolve. You may notice it when you no longer panic at silence, when you stop assuming that every pause means loss, when you realize you don't need to overextend yourself just to feel secure. That's not luck, Libra, that's growth. You've crossed a threshold where scarcity no longer defines you, not because your circumstances magically changed overnight, but because you did. The old voice that whispered, "Be careful, hold back, don't expect too much," is losing its authority. You're starting to make choices from a different place now, a steadier place, one that trusts its own worth without needing constant reassurance. And here's the part I want you to really hear. The world responds differently when you stop negotiating with fear. When you think like someone who expects stability, life begins offering it, not all at once, but consistently. You begin to notice small confirmations, a sense of relief after making a decision you once would have avoided, a feeling of being supported instead of stretched thin. Moments where you realize I didn't struggle the way I thought I would. That's the old cycle releasing you. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to declare anything. Just let it fade, because you're no longer operating from lack. You're operating from alignment. And that shift is powerful. It allows you to receive without guilt, to rest without anxiety, to plan without fear that everything could collapse. This is where abundance truly begins, in the mind, in the body, in the way you hold yourself when no one is watching. You're learning that enough isn't something you chase, it's something you allow. And Libra, this matters beyond you. When one person steps out of scarcity, they create space for others to do the same. You model balance without preaching it, security without control, grace without self-sacrifice. That's the quiet contribution you're making right now. You're showing that it's possible to grow to prosper without losing kindness, without losing integrity, without losing yourself. So, if part of you still feels unfamiliar with this ease, that's okay. You lived a long time without it. Let yourself adjust. because what you're stepping into next is not built on fear or urgency. It's built on what you've learned, what you've healed, what you're finally ready to trust. And as this old mindset continues to soften, you may start to sense something else approaching, a clearer understanding of where you stand, of what you're meant to hold, of how fairness, real fairness, begins to restore balance in your life. Stay with that feeling. There's a reason clarity follows release. Libra, let me sit with you right here, because where you are right now matters more than you think. You may look at your life and feel like you're still holding things together with careful hands, watching every decision, measuring every step, trying to stay composed while quietly managing the pressure underneath. If that's you, I want you to know something. There is nothing wrong with where you are. You are not failing. You are not late. You are not doing it wrong. You're learning how to keep balance while the ground finishes settling. And maybe there's another part of you that recognizes a different rhythm. Things are flowing a little more easily now. Money doesn't feel as tight. Work feels steadier. There's a sense that life has stopped resisting you. If that's you, hear this too. You didn't skip any steps to get here. You earned this pace. What matters is not which version you recognize yourself in. What matters is that both exist on the same path. Because Libra, growth does not move in a straight line. It moves in waves. Some waves teach you restraint, others teach you trust. And right now, the universe is not judging which wave you're riding. It's watching how gently you treat yourself while you ride it. If you're still in that place of careful control, it means you're protecting what you've built. That's wisdom, not fear. You've learned what happens when you give too much too fast. So now you choose stability over urgency, consistency over chaos. And if you're already feeling steadier, it means you've reached a point where effort has turned into momentum, where things don't require constant fixing, where you can breathe and let life carry some of the weight. Neither place is better. They are simply different moments in the same unfolding. I want you to release the habit of comparing yourself to an imagined timeline, to an invisible standard of where you think you should be by now. That pressure doesn't come from truth. It comes from impatience with your own humanity. You're allowed to arrive at your life gradually. You're allowed to build security slowly, to learn how to hold money without tension, to let success feel normal instead of fragile. And I know there's a part of you that wonders, am I doing enough or should I be further along? That question only appears when you forget how far you've come. Because the Libra I'm speaking to right now has already survived instability, already learned restraint, already discovered how to stay graceful under pressure. You're not starting from nothing, you're continuing from experience. And that's why the path ahead doesn't ask you to rush. It asks you to trust your pace. The life you're moving into is not about dramatic leaps. It's about alignment catching up to effort, about patience finally being met with reliability. You don't need to force anything open. What's meant to stabilize will stabilize. What's meant to grow will grow. And as you listen to this, I want you to notice how your body responds. Not excitement, not anxiety, but a quiet sense of recognition. That's your intuition reminding you that you were exactly where you need to be. Because very soon, the question won't be, am I moving fast enough? It will be, how did everything begin to fall into place so naturally? And as that realization starts to form, you'll feel another shift approaching. Not in speed, but in direction. A moment where opportunity begins to take shape, not as pressure, but as invitation. Stay with that feeling. It's guiding you gently toward what comes next. Libra. I want you to notice what's beginning to take shape now. Not as a loud announcement, not as a sudden turn, but as a quiet opening you can feel before you see. There is movement around you, subtle, intentional, the kind that doesn't ask you to gamble your peace or rush your instincts. You may already sense it, a conversation that feels different than the others, an idea that keeps returning, calmly, without pressure, a door you once assumed was closed that no longer feels locked. This is how the right opportunities approach you. They don't demand, they invite. What's forming now fits who you are becoming, not who you used to be when you were just trying to get by. This next step understands your skill, your experience, your quiet discipline. It respects your rhythm. You're not being asked to leap blindly. You're being asked to recognize what aligns. For some part of you, this shows up as work that finally feels fair, not just financially, but energetically. Something that allows you to breathe instead of brace yourself. where effort is met with stability, not exhaustion. For another part of you, it appears as relief, that moment when you realize the numbers add up, when income feels dependable instead of uncertain, when you no longer calculate every future scenario just to feel safe. And for others, it arrives as a choice, a quiet crossroads where you realize you are finally strong enough to choose differently. Not because you are desperate, but because you are ready. And I want you to hear this clearly, Libra. You are not here because you pushed too hard. You are here because you stayed consistent when no one was watching. Every time you kept going without recognition. Every time you chose balance over panic. Every time you did the right thing even when it slowed you down. Those moments mattered. Life noticed. That's why what's opening now does not feel chaotic. It feels earned. You don't need to be reckless to move forward. You don't need to abandon your values or your calm. This opportunity does not ask you to betray yourself. It meets you at your level, and you may find that the universe is suddenly cooperative in small ways. Timing works out. Information arrives when you need it. Decisions feel clearer than they used to. That is not coincidence. That is momentum responding to patience. I know there was a time when you wondered if being steady would cost you chances, if moving carefully meant missing out. But what you're seeing now is proof of the opposite. Your restraint refined your path. Your persistence shaped it. And as this next phase begins to reveal itself, you might feel a mix of calm and disbelief, like you want to trust it, but part of you still waits for the catch. That reaction makes sense. You learned caution honestly. But notice how this does not arrive with urgency. It doesn't pressure you to decide before you are ready. It gives you space. That space is intentional, because what's unfolding next is meant to last. It is built on what you already know, on what you have survived, on the quiet strength you carry without announcing it. Stay present with this moment. Let it come closer without trying to control it, because as this opportunity continues to form, it will begin to show you something deeper. Not just what you can gain, but how stability grows when you stop fighting the flow and allow life to support you in return. And Libra, once you feel that support beneath your feet, you'll understand why the next shift is not about reaching further, but about rooting deeper. Stay with me. That realization is closer than you think. Libra, let this land slowly. What's growing around you now isn't flashy. It doesn't rush in with noise or promises. It settles in quietly, like roots finding their way through solid ground. This is not the kind of money that comes and disappears, not the kind that keeps you awake at night, wondering how long it will last. What's forming now is steadier than that, calmer, wiser. You're learning something important in this season, not how to chase, but how to nurture. For a long time, you were focused on getting through, on making it work, on staying balanced while the world kept shifting beneath you. That taught you discipline, awareness, respect for stability. Now those lessons are paying you back. You may notice it in small, almost ordinary moments. An unexpected bonus that doesn't feel dramatic, but reassuring. A word of recognition that arrives without you asking for it. An opportunity that seems modest on the surface, yet solid underneath. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They're life's way of saying, keep going, this path holds. Because real growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it whispers through consistency, through repetition, through the quiet comfort of knowing you can rely on what you've built. You're beginning to treat your finances the way you treat your relationships now, with care, with patience, with boundaries. You no longer pour everything out at once. You invest, you protect, you allow things to mature. That shift alone changes everything. And Libra, there's something deeply grounding about the energy surrounding you right now. Even when the world feels unpredictable, you're less shaken, less reactive. You don't absorb every wave of fear the way you used to. You've developed roots. That doesn't mean nothing will ever challenge you again. It means challenges won't uproot you. You're building a kind of security that adjusts without breaking, a rhythm that holds through change. And I want you to notice how different this feels from the past. You're not scrambling, you're not bracing for impact, you're steady. That steadiness is wealth, because it allows you to make decisions from clarity instead of urgency, to plan without panic, to trust that even small steps forward still count. Those little rewards you're seeing, they're not meant to impress you. They're meant to encourage you. They're signals along the road, quiet markers saying, yes, this is it, don't turn back now. And you don't need to announce your progress to anyone. You don't need to prove that it's working. The peace you're starting to feel is proof enough. You're discovering that abundance doesn't have to overwhelm you to be real. It can arrive gently, settle naturally, become part of your everyday life. That's the kind of prosperity that lasts. As you continue to move this way, you might feel a deeper sense of responsibility emerge, not pressure, purpose, a desire to be wiser with what you hold, to protect it, to grow it in ways that reflect who you are now. That awareness matters because it prepares you for the next layer of this journey, not the external one, the internal one, the part where you learn what to release so growth can continue without resistance. Stay with that feeling. There's something important you're about to understand about what no longer needs to come with you as you move forward. Libra, let's talk honestly now. Because when things finally start to stabilize, when the ground feels solid beneath your feet, the last obstacles are rarely loud. They're quiet. They live inside. You might feel them as hesitation, that pause before you trust yourself fully. That moment when you pull back emotionally, not because you don't care, but because caring once cost you too much. That didn't come from nowhere. You learned to protect your balance by stepping away, by staying neutral, by not choosing too quickly. And for a long time, that kept you safe. But, Libra, there comes a moment when protection begins to feel like distance, when caution quietly turns into delay. You may notice it now. The way you second-guess your own instincts, the way you wait for more confirmation than you actually need, the way you sense the truth, yet hesitate to look straight at it. Not because you don't know, but because knowing would require a choice, and choices have weight, especially for someone like you, who sees all sides, who understands consequences, who knows that every decision shifts the scale. But here's what matters. You were never meant to stay suspended forever. The wisdom you carry was not given to keep you still. It was given to guide movement. You don't need more information now. You need trust. Trust in your ability to respond with grace even when the path is unfamiliar. Trust that your emotional depth is not a weakness. Trust that clarity does not destroy balance. It restores it. Avoiding the truth doesn't keep the peace. It postpones it. An emotional withdrawal, as comforting as it feels in the moment, only delays connection with what wants to support you. You're allowed to stay open and grounded at the same time. You don't have to disappear to protect your energy anymore. Because Libra, something has shifted. You are not the same person who once needed to retreat. You have more stability now, more insight, more resilience than you realize. That's why the key for you in this moment is not force, but leadership. Soft leadership. The kind that begins within. Leading yourself to trust your judgment. Leading yourself to choose without apology. Leading yourself to stay present even when the decision feels tender. This is where faith comes in. Not blind faith. Quiet faith. The kind that says, I don't need everything to be guaranteed to move with integrity. You don't need to prove your strength by enduring more uncertainty. You've already done that. Now your strength shows in your willingness to step forward calmly, to stand in what you know without defensiveness, to let your actions reflect the balance you've cultivated. And there's something deeply human about this stage. It reminds us that growth isn't just about accumulation. It's about courage, the courage to stop hiding behind neutrality, the courage to trust that fairness will meet you halfway, the courage to let yourself be seen choosing. When you do that, Libra, you don't disrupt harmony, you create it. Because harmony is not the absence of movement, it is movement guided by truth. So, if you feel a gentle pressure now, not from the outside, but from within, that's not anxiety, that's readiness. Readiness to release old habits of hesitation. Readiness to lead your life with the same grace you offer others. Readiness to believe that you are capable of holding more without losing yourself. And as this realization settles, you may feel something soften, a quiet acceptance, a sense that the hardest inner work is behind you. What comes next is not resistance, it's resolution. Stay with that feeling. Because once trust replaces doubt, the final chapter opens with light, clarity, and a recognition that everything you walked through was shaping you for this exact moment. Libra, take a breath with me here. This is the moment when the light doesn't rush in. It dawns, slowly, gently, almost respectfully. The chapter you've been living in for so long has finished its work. Not because it was easy, but because it shaped you as much as it possibly could. The exhaustion, the quiet grief, the times you had to keep going while your heart was still catching up. None of that was wasted. It carved depth into you. It refined your sense of fairness. It taught you what truly matters when everything else falls away. And now, Libra, something changes. You may feel it first in your body. A lighter chest, a calmer stomach, a nervous system that no longer stays on high alert. You wake up with less weight on you. You move through the day with more ease. Not because life suddenly became perfect, but because you are no longer carrying what never belonged to you. That is recognition. Not the loud kind, the real kind. The kind where life meets you with respect, where your efforts are acknowledged without you asking, where people see your value because you finally see it yourself. Joy returns in subtle ways. You laugh more easily. You enjoy small moments without guilt. You stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. This is not temporary happiness. It's relief. The relief of knowing you don't have to struggle to deserve peace. The relief of realizing that what hurt you before no longer defines what's possible now. And the most important shift is happening quietly inside. You're choosing yourself differently. You care more about your health, your energy, your balance. You listen when your body asks for rest. You protect your time without apologizing. That's not selfish, Libra. That's self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. Because when you treat yourself as someone worthy of care, the world responds accordingly. Opportunities meet you with kindness. Stability feels natural instead of fragile. Abundance begins to show up in ways that don't overwhelm you. This is how prosperity truly arrives, not as excess, but as alignment. You're not chasing joy anymore. You're allowing it. You're not forcing success. You're welcoming it. And I want you to understand something deeply human here. Your journey doesn't just matter to you. When someone like you, someone who values harmony, someone who refuses to abandon integrity, steps into a life of balance and fulfillment, it quietly gives others permission to believe in the same. You become proof that gentleness and strength can coexist, that patience is not weakness, that light can follow long nights. So, if you feel a sense of calm confidence settling in now, trust it. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a chapter written with clarity. And as you stand here in this new space, I want you to stay present. Notice the warmth, the steadiness, the sense that life is finally moving with you, not against you. If this message spoke to you, let it anchor you. Leave a comment. Share how this feels in your body right now. Stay connected, stay open. Because what unfolds from here is not about proving anything anymore. It's about living with balance, with joy, and with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they've earned their place in the light. And Libra, this light is just beginning to rise. Libra, before you go, let this settle in your heart. Nothing about this moment is random. Not the timing, not the way this message found you, not the quiet shift you may feel right now. Like something inside you has finally exhaled. You're not stepping into prosperity by force. You're being guided into it, gently, intentionally, in a way that honors who you are and what you've endured. If this message reached you, it's because your soul was ready to hear it, ready to trust again, ready to receive without fear, ready to believe that balance and abundance can exist together. So, if this resonated, leave a comment and tell me how this season feels in your body right now. Like the video if you felt seen. Subscribe if you want to stay connected to this journey, because there is more clarity coming and the next message will meet you exactly where you are. Above all, Libra, trust yourself. Trust the pace. Trust the quiet guidance that brought you here. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where light begins to rise. Stay close. The journey continues.